News about our neighbours now. Relief aid continues to pour into Mozambique and Zimbabwe as the countries continue to reel from the devastation following Cyclone Idai. More than 700 people have died so far and 500,000 others have been displaced. Desan Tatia caught up with International Relations Minister Lindiwe Sisulu in Zimbabwe's capital Harare last night.
The South African government and business community has pledged millions to its neighbours Zimbabwe and Mozambique in the aftermath of Cyclone Idai. International Relations Minister Lindiwe Sisulu as well as Patrice Motsepe of the business community have visited both countries to understand firsthand the extent of the devastation. I have with me the Minister Lindiwe Sisulu right now. Minister, you've just made this announcement in Zimbabwe, pledging a total of 60 million from your side, as well as Mr. Motsepe pledging 15 million. You've seen firsthand the extent of the damage. Tell me what this money is going to, or what you expect this money to be used for.
Okay. We have worked out in an agreement that we have set out with the Zimbabwean government that their top priority is for health purposes, because with the kind of outbreak that they've had, they are very worried that their water may be contaminated. So they are wanting to invest in health facilities, especially in water purification tablets. They are wanting to invest in building materials, as the Minister of Defence has indicated, because so many families have been displaced. And right now the displaced families are in schools at a time when children should be at school, and the children are located in a common place as well. And the sooner they can put some temporary structure around the families, the sooner they'll be settled. So this is what we're going to be prioritizing. We've also put together a package from various NGOs, which unfortunately were not able to come here today. So we thought we'd be the front soldiers, but a great deal of help in terms of food, in terms of clothes, or any other material support that we can provide, we will be giving to the people of Zimbabwe. We took this decision at the meeting of the Solidarity with the Western Saharan people, where all the heads of state pledged that they would do everything possible to make sure that we can alleviate the stress that is experienced by those people who are affected. So the following day I decided I was going to come here, and I was pleasantly surprised that Patrice Motsepe would call me and say, I'm coming along with you. It just goes to show the extent to which South African people have been affected by these disasters around us.
Minister, just for those back home that may not understand where this money comes from and whether we can actually afford it, can you provide some clarity on that?
We have a fund in international relations called the African Renaissance Fund. It is a fund that is set aside to ensure that we are able to help our African brothers. Because African Renaissance is one of those calls that we use to ensure that we can get Africa back on its feet and make sure that it can progress. So it is specifically ring-fenced to assist Africa. We also have a fund that is for humanitarian purposes. That is where we got the 10 million rands from, because this is a humanitarian crisis. Now, in a situation of this nature, whatever affects Zimbabwe will affect South Africa. It is in our interest to make sure that we support them and we assist them. The rivers that run through here that might carry cholera run through to South Africa. Whatever else happens here, it is part of our sub-region. We are affected by it. And we have this fund that has been put aside for this purpose, and this is where we get that money, and this is what we're going to do. And we do it jointly with the governments, where we donate these resources.
Minister, thank you so much for your time. Minister Sisulu telling us there that they've contributed a total of about 150 million to both these countries between themselves as government as well as the Motsepe Foundation. Meanwhile, rescue and relief efforts still continue in both these countries, with the Gift of the Givers currently working on the ground to provide as much aid and assistance as it can. Earlier we spoke to Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman of the Gift of the Givers, and he says that they've already delivered about 50 tons of food in Mozambique. I'm Desan Tatia in Harare, Zimbabwe.